Hi guys, this is Gravely again with another pen review, and today we have something that I don't do that often, which is a ballpoint pen review. Most of the time it's fountain pens, pencils, wood case pencils, mechanical pencils, perhaps notebooks and pen pouches. There's not so much ballpoint pen reviewing going on, but I do believe, of course, that ballpoints do have, their righteous space in the stationery world because, of course, they are very quick and convenient writing implements. And today we have nothing less than the iconic Lamy Safari right here, which has been sent to me kindly with the last care package that I have received by Frank at Fontoplumo. Frank, thanks a lot for providing this iconic writing instrument here for review. Love the packaging, this super cool industrial looking Lamy packaging. The Lamy Safari in white right here, coming in at a super affordable price of €9.90 for a very unique looking and very good writing, as said, iconic fountain pen. I was about to say out of habit, but of course it's a ballpoint pen matching my little watch wristband right here by accident. Hey, I think the Lamy Safari doesn't need any introduction. Fountain pen looks like this, right? With this iconic wire clip that you have in the ballpoint pen as well, in different dimensions. But I have a fountain pen in white as well. So they make a very, very nice looking pair of writing implements right there that you could keep together in a 2-pen pouch. Lamy also makes very nice 2-pen pouches. I don't have one here right now, but the pen has a cylindrical shape. As said, has this very nice wire shaped clip, which is super functional. It then has this like industrial looking gasketed push button right here, which of course puts the writing tip into action. Says Lamy right here, the Lamy logo, looking very similar to the oops, wrong way around, like that, to the Lamy on the fountain pen. Then you have this triangular shaped grip, which is intended to help you find your grip. Very similar, once again, to the section of the Lamy Safari, where the triangular shaping is much more pronounced, as you can see here in comparison. Much deeper indents right here, not as pronounced on the ballpoint pen, but still there. You can definitely feel it, and you can definitely use it to find your grip positioning. And then a gray nose right here that then of course calibrates and balances the writing tip. Very, very nice pen. This ballpoint pen, it looks super cool. It's quite unique, I would say. Looks very nice on a notebook, and of course super quick then to take your notes there. It definitely does not look like any other ballpoint pen out there. If you compare it, for instance, with the Lamy logo, I have one right here. Maybe you can see it better if I put it against the white background. I have one right here. I think the Lamy logo, while also fairly iconic, looks a little bit closer to basically any ballpoint pen out there. It's a very ballpoint penny looking ballpoint pen, if I may say so. Gets a little bit more interesting, for instance, if you would pick up a Lamy logo in this like brushed metal finish, which I find then is a lot more interesting, looks a little bit more unique, but of course also very much looks like, you know, your everyday ballpoint pen. I just also wanted to put them a little bit side by side because the Lamy logo, I think then it costs like half the price of the Lamy Safari. I think that's like I said, €9.90, €10, and I think you get that one for €5, €6, €7, something like that. But they're like fairly similar in size, fairly similar in length, and I think they're also fairly similar in girth. Maybe the Safari is a bit more girthy, but since the grip section here comes down to some triangular shape, which then is a bit thinner than the rest of the pen body, here it would be a bit girthier, but like I think down here it's like pretty comparable to the Lamy logo. This one looks a little bit more minimalist, a little bit more unobtrusive. This here looks a little bit more unique, has a little bit more design going on. I prefer this one. I like it more, but that's just personal taste. Very, very cool. Here I have a Lamy 2000 ballpoint pen. That's of course now even more unique because of course now that's a Lamy 2000, but that also costs more. I think it costs like 30, 40 euro, something like that, perhaps even 50. I think it's like 30, 35 euro or so. I'm not 100% sure right now. Also fairly similar in length. And I think the grip section is also fairly similar in average diameter. But of course, like now on the Lamy 2000, if you prefer a thin grip, you could hold it down here and a thicker grip up there. That flexibility you don't really have on this pen. Very nice. Let's do a quick writing sample. Of course, like now there's not like a whole lot to show off right here because there's no, you know, line variation such as with fountain pens. There's like the spring in there, and there's of course also no, you know, lead variation as in pencils that would then, you know, make a darker or lighter line. This is now just like the standard Lamy M16 refill in blue, so that will write like any other, you know, ballpoint pen that would have like a Lamy M16 refill in them. Google online, there is also refill guides, you know, what pens take which refills, because some people aren't super happy with the M16 refill as in how it writes. So there are online refill guides where you can sort of check out what other refills might be Monteverde or something like that might be compatible with this pen. Lamy Safari ballpoint pen. I'm not a ballpoint pen enthusiast, so I'm not too peculiar about the refills. I'm sure there's better ones, but I'm sure there's also a lot worse ones. Lamy, after all, does have a lot of experience in making pen refills. So this definitely works. It's a nice blue, fairly consistent line. Of course, not as consistent as you would have with fountain pen ink, but I think it's still a fairly consistent line. So this definitely works very, very well as a everyday note taker. And I thought, because it's the compadre of the iconic Lamy Safari fountain pen, that it's definitely worth having a look at this cool little pen. There you have it with the review of this Lamy Safari fountain pen. Frank, thanks a lot for sending this for review. You guys can check them out right here at fontoplumo.nl. And I say thank you. I hope this video was somewhat useful, and I'll see you at the next video. Ciao, ciao.